Okay, let's get back to work. Oh man, I'm awake now.
Slipped out the sniper rifle, targeting the 2 ponies in sniper positions. Even with my skill and targeting spell, it would be a tricky shot to hit either of them. But even if I missed, I could at least pin them down.
See, this is why you get like a grenade launcher or a rocket launcher or a fat man or a fat boy. Shit, no. It's been a while since I played Fallout. I forget. Is it the fat boy? Yeah, I think it's the fat boy. You just get that fucking fat boy and you nuke those fuckers.
The Steel Rangers looked as taken aback as they could, considering they were completely concealed by metal armor. I'm sorry. What was that?
After the disgraceful actions of Paladin Amaranth at the previous exchange, you are lucky we're asking so low a price for the return of your elder.
Steelhooves informed her flatly.
Whom your own pony shot at. So be careful whom you call a traitor.
Knight Riverseed hesitated once more, then took a step forward. We can't comply with those demands, and you know it. Request denied. Now get off of our citadel. The 2 light machine guns on our armor's built-in battle saddle clicked as they reloaded, pointing threateningly at us. But my EFS was not registering her as hostile. It was a bluff.
Are you really going to attack an elder with 200 years combat experience, backed by a team of wasteland heroes who have defeated a dragon?
Steelhooves asked warningly.
You can't win.
I can't give you 1 water talisman, much less 2, she spat back. Your offer is absurd, and you are trespassing. This sounded like it was going downhill, but no pony was read on my EFS compass yet. We could still talk this out. I was beginning to really hope we could. I hadn't realized how badly the losses at Stable 2 and 29 had depleted the Manhattan Company.
Well, they weren't very numerous to begin with. I mean, shit. This is why I'm always talking about manpower losses. It's a serious thing. It's not like Mount and Blade Warband where you could go drum up a few conscripts in a village. Well, okay. Okay, technically these guys could do that if they were going like the Mideast Brotherhood of Steel, which I actually enjoy. I think the Mideast Brotherhood is pretty awesome. But these are clearly hardcore West Coast Brotherhood style. So yeah, you got these guys are fucked. Like seriously, you destroyed an entire chapter at Stable 2. That's a horrific blow. Like horrific. Just while you've almost destroyed this chapter, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are literally all the guys who are left.
Contingent of Steel Rangers. The battle earlier today must have taken out their remaining hierarchy. All that was left were the knights left behind to guard the fort, and probably a hoofful of scribes. These weren't the ponies who attacked Stable 2. They weren't the ponies who attacked us earlier, either. They weren't even the ones responsible for refusing water to the civilians of Arbu.
Pow!
One of the snipers fired at Steelhooves. The knight wasn't even red on my compass. I think it was an accident. The bullet ricocheted off the ghoul's magically powered armor and struck Velvet Remedy. She fell with a yelp, bleeding out of a hole in her flank, her blood running down over her Nightingale cutie mark. Everything went to hell. Stop shooting at us, I yelled. Surrender! The 2 unicorn scribes were clearly panicked. With all the alarms and the explosions outside, I wasn't surprised. One of them cast a blinding spell that filled the stairwell with strobing lights. I closed my eyes tight and fired blindly with the poison dart gun, not wanting to kill these ponies. Unfortunately, they weren't showing the same restraint. A crackle of lightning cut the air, making my coat hairs all stand on end and filling the stairwell with the smell of ozone. I backed up the stairwell, pressing against the wall, nearly tripping on the
Wait, what the fuck was that guy doing with a sniper rifle that wasn't even powerful enough to pierce power armor, and he was aiming at Steelhooves? What the fuck? These guys are incompetent!
Steps. One of the unicorns had combat spells. I fired again, hoping that if I couldn't hit them, I could at least keep them from getting closer. The 2 water talismans we had come to procure dangled from my horn on the chains. They were amazingly small things, no bigger than a particularly gaudy necklace. They radiated a cool power from the large sapphires in the center of their golden latticework, but were otherwise almost unremarkable. I had braved the internal rooms of the pier and picked one of the hardest locks I'd ever come across in order to get them. But my relatively stealthy entrance was obliterated when all the alarms went off. I felt a cool breeze and could clearly hear the sound of Steelhill's grenade machine gun as he battled knights with a fraction of the skill, but just as much ridiculous firepower. When I dodged into the interior of Buckland Cross, Calamity had been swerving through the air, dealing with the 2 remaining sentinel tanks, the ones I'd missed. Another bolt of electricity lashed out, this one hitting me square in the breast. My body locked up in intense pain. My magic imploded, and the dart gun went tumbling down the stairs. I teetered, gasping, and fell back through the window. Free fall, just for a fraction of a second, but long enough for the pony in my head to be convinced that I was falling to my death. Then I hit a metal girder. I opened my eyes, blinking, my vision still swimming with foreign colors and shapes from the blinding strobe spell. I was laying on one of the understruts that had formed a latticework beneath Buckland Bridge, looking up at the underside of the street. A cold wind blew across me, carrying the first drops of another rainstorm. I turned my head and immediately regretted it. It was a long way down. Okay. Being very, very still. Just float myself back into the window, I told myself. Not a problem. The 2 unicorn scribes appeared in the window above me, their horns glowing. Motes of magical energy formed around one of them, forming into eldritch daggers. I whipped out little Macintosh, slipped into Sats, and fired twice.
About damn time.
Calamity flapped his wings and the Sky Bandit lifted away from Buckland Cross. The rest of us huddled in the Sky Bandit, which was now considerably more riddled with bullet holes. Next stop, Calamity insisted, we would start putting on armor.
Yeah.
While we still had much of a passenger wagon left, that was. Zenith was tending to Velvet Remedy, who was breathing heavily as she slept. The bullet had lodged inside her flank, and Velvet had spent the battle digging it out while Zenith applied healing potions and zebra poultices as needed.
Wait. No. Okay, maybe it would hit somewhere where you couldn't leave it in, but aren't you usually supposed to leave the bullet in there? Again, maybe the bullet lodged somewhere where you couldn't leave it in there, like maybe a joint or something.
Velvet would be okay, but she had lost a fair bit of blood and needed to rest. In the end, only 2 of the Buckland Cross ponies surrendered. We let them go in one of the Cross's boats. I watched them as the crane lowered them, shuddering under waves of deep hurt at how very few ponies were in that boat. We'd stripped the fallen knights, scribes, and initiates, 14 in all, and built a funeral pyre.
Yeah.
They deserved that much at least. I wondered if the outcasts would claim Buckland Cross for their own now. We would take our 2 water talismans to Friendship City and Stable 29. But first we needed to rest. Arbu had offered a sanctuary, and I was eager to take them up on it. The light from the pyre danced into the sky. As if summoned, a streak of green and gold appeared, whirling and pirouetting amongst the flames. I played the final audio log that I had been able to recover as they flew through the darkness.
I woke up in the hospital this afternoon. Apparently I've been in and out of surgery for 2 days. Fortunately the company's paying for most of the costs, seeing as I was injured on the job. I'd gotten a frantic call from Mrs. Weathers, who was screaming about murder. I rushed to the mall as fast as I could, telling her to send a terminal message to the police. We'd had a doozy of a storm the night before, and when I got there, Sunnysuds laundromat was a complete disaster. Turns out Jamocha Joe was right about that fucking huge-ass billboard of Mr. Bean's. Damn thing came crashing down this morning. Good 3 hours after the storm had passed, tearing through Sunnysud's roof. The murder victim, turns out, was Mrs. Weathers' fucking poodle. She was screaming and hollering at Mr. Beans, so red-faced I thought she'd explode, claiming that he murdered her poor little walk-in piss dispenser. Like he was the one who left her damn dog in the laundromat while she popped out for a cake. I can't say I didn't laugh. I didn't even see the baddie old unicorn produce the firearm. I still don't know whether she was actually trying to shoot me, or if the bullet was meant for Mr. Beans, and her aim was just that bad. I'm told the police have her in custody. While I was in surgery, my stable tech broadcaster went off. I missed the call, but that's okay. According to the message, this is just some sort of test run, like those fire drills they made us do in school. I decided not to mention it to my sister. She's already in too much of a mess. Sister's here, looking more depressed and anxious than ever. I don't think she's been sleeping. I told her the doctors say I'll be fine. I'll be up and about, good as new by the end of the week. But I don't think she was really listening. I've been shot, and that's all she seemed to be able to focus on. Well, that and the other thing. Apparently while I was in surgery, ponies from the Ministry of Morale paid her a visit. According to Sis, they were asking all sorts of questions about Darwin. Weird things like what she said at her birthday party and about her internship last year with 4 stars. Sis was freaking out. I think she's losing it. I've seen this sort of thing before, and as much as I hate it, I think it's time we call the Ministry of Peace. They're the only ones who seem to be able to do anything with wartime stress disorder.
Where is every pony? I asked, trotting out of the Sky Bandit. Hello?
It is late, Zenith intoned. They are likely all sleeping.
Yeah, but there would still be guards.
I nodded.
A
Night had
watch.
fallen during our battle on Buckland Cross. I looked around. All the stores were closed up, but there was light pouring between the boards covering the windows of Starbucked. I contemplated heading there, but decided that I didn't want to break in anybody's home. Instead, I made for the comic shop with its collapsed front wall. I could hear the snores of the merchant,
Okay, good.
but I was so weary and emotionally exhausted that I could sleep through a firefight. I was not a good pony. I wanted to be a good pony.
You're awesome.
I tried to be a good pony. But today... Hey! A voice hissed at me from the darkness. I turned to see Grandpa Rattle huddled in the shadows. I looked for any sign of a shotgun, and by that I meant a stick. Instead, I noticed the red marks above his hind hooves. I knew such marks well. They meant he'd been shackled. And recently. My eyebrows raised in alarm. Shush. They don't know this old man can still pick a lock, he told me, astutely judging not only what I had seen, but what I had made of it. You and your friends want to hightail it out of Arbu. This is a no-good place. I blinked.
What do you mean? They seem perfectly nice to me.
Yeah, well, take a look in the basement if you don't believe me. But don't say I didn't warn you.
The basement? In the quick care? Where they kept the bodies they were going to bury tomorrow?
Ah, fuck.
I had a sudden, dreadful sinking feeling in my heart. Grandpa Rattle looked at me nervously.
Y'all get. Hear me, get?
Then he shambled back into the shadows. I considered following him, then turned and galloped silently for Helping Hoof. There
Man!
were 3 ponies in the Helping Hoof quick care. They were chatting around bowls of stew, cigarette butts, and a game that involved black chits and white dots. They looked like a family. One of them a mare hardly older than a filly, just barely old enough to have her cutie mark. And, I noted, her Arbu mark. They also looked like guards. Either way, they never saw me pass. The lock on the basement door was a surprisingly expensive one for a struggling town like this. Not that I didn't figure they could have scavenged it from somewhere, but I would expect such a valuable would have been sold during their last bad year. It was still the easiest lock I had picked that evening. The smell hit me immediately, followed by the sound of flies. But then, I was expecting to find bodies. I closed the door behind me without a sound and descended the steps cautiously, turning on my pip-buck light. The 2 water talismans clinked together softly, still hanging from my horn. One
Why
of them
you still
I had
got
procured
those?
for this town, risking my life and the lives of my friends. Killing ponies I didn't want to kill. Self-defense didn't make them any less dead. Clink, clink. The basement was an abattoir. Blood, both new and very old, stained the tiled floor in splatters and streaks, running towards the drain embedded in the center. Bodies of ponies lay on the tables, carved not just open, but apart. Skinned and flayed, their meat removed. I recognized the dead from Arbu and the bandits alike. The remains of more ponies were piled in barrels in a corner. Beside the barrels were the refrigerators. They were lined up like soldiers wearing uniforms of discolored white, except where they were stained with blood. Trembling, I approached one of them, my skin crawling as I stepped onto the sticky, wet floor. I reached out telekinetically to open the first refrigerator, feeling a sick terror touching it even with my magic. It was locked. So were the others. That didn't stop me.
Keep your guns pointed at the
I
door.
unlocked the first one and braced myself.
God damn it, she better have brought her guns. I will be so fucking pissed.
I swung the door open.
I saw meat. I turned, reeling. My gaze caught on a pony skull hung on the wall next to the stairs where I couldn't see it before. The skull was mounted on a plaque. Beneath it, some bony had soldered on the word Unity. We're all going to be together as one, ain't we? It was a bad year for us, so we took some solace in him. They ate him, I realized, my mind teetering on the darkest edge of night. They killed the preacher, and they ate him. Clink, clink. The black stallion who had been Sandy Shore's father lay on one of those tables. His ribs were cracked open. They'd cut out his heart. It's an Arbu mark. We get it after we eat the heart of our first kill. But I killed the colt's father. And I certainly wasn't going to. Oh, goddesses.
You can't see it, but I'm actually kind of smiling a little.
I felt suddenly and violently ill. I stumbled against the wall, retching, trying to
So, yeah, I knew it was going to be evil cannibals, but I held a little hope. Just a little hope we might see the reverse of that trope and have, like, some decent cannibals hanging around. I figured not, though. I wonder if Lil Pit's going to get the cannibal perk out of this.
purge myself of every last bit of the evening's meal. My head began to pound again. I felt dizzy. My concussion.
Lil Pip, now is the perfect moment for a rip-roaring rampage of revenge. I love that trope, and I think you can really use it right now. It would also be really amusing to see your companion's reactions to you going from house to house with an axe, killing everybody. Like, you know, you get those, like, you know, in those gory sort of grindhouse movies and stuff, where you get that where you get a montage of the main character with, like, some kind of weapon and just going from place to place killing all the bad guys. I love those montages. They're great. I can imagine that right now. Like, get some weird, happy, or low-key rock music. Little Pip with an axe and just this blank look on her face, and she's just going around the town killing everybody in amusing ways. Kind of like Deadpool. Oh, I would love it!
And I'd killed for these ponies. I shuddered and vomited again, then spit repeatedly, trying to clear the taste from my mouth. I wanted to rinse my mouth out with Radaway. The water talismans knocked together. Clink. The feeling of illness passed, leaving me just feeling violent. "You're cannibals?" I shouted as I burst back into the quick care, telekinetically lifting all three ponies and choking them.
Yeah! Yeah!
What the fuck is wrong with you? The wasteland isn't fucked up enough? The mother of the family, the same apricot mare who had been collecting the bodies, levitated a knife from the table. I knocked it away with my own magic. "You fed the cult his own father? You sick fucking monsters!" I raged, seeing nothing but red. The youngest mare was passing out. The other two struggled.
Go Doom on them! You did it with the alicorn? Oh, go Doom guy! Like, last video I said you should be Big Boss? No, you gotta be Doom guy, Little Pip.
The father trying to buck at me even though I was across the room. He only succeeded in kicking over the table, spilling black chits and pony stew all over the floor. There was a rifle holstered on the other side of the table. The apricot mare focused, turning the whole table to fire at me. Bang. I felt the bullet impact my armor, bruising badly as it failed to penetrate. It hurt, but I didn't let myself even wince.
Squeeze harder.
"Where is the colt?" I growled. I needed to find him, to save him from this place. Him and any pony else here who could still be saved. As for the rest... The father weakly pointed towards Starbuck. "Thank you," I hissed as I pulled the zebra rifle out. The sound of silenced shots filled the night.
Like, seriously, this is my favorite trope. The roaring rampage of revenge. I love it. It's so fun. It's just so fun.
I dropped their burning bodies and trotted out the door. A pony stumbled towards me in the darkness. I swung the zebra rifle around, but stopped as I recognized the merchant. I heard a shot, the merchant pony said, looking worried. Are the bandits back? I studied the pony a moment before asking, my voice dangerous and low. Did you know? The merchant froze, reassessing the situation. No, what? That Arbu is full of cannibals. That the meat they're selling you is pony meat. Did you know? The merchant pony blanched, looking immediately ill. The pony swayed, fighting to stay on all four hooves. That was answer enough. Go look in the basement, I said, pointing back the way I came. Mind the bodies in the fire. Then, go tell every pony you meet. I turned towards Starbuck, where light still poured out behind the boarded-up windows. I could hear my friends galloping towards me, but I ignored them.
Yeah!
Instead, I marched towards the door of the coffee shop. The righteous fury of hell followed behind me.
Woo! Oh! Okay, hold on. There's still a little bit more.
DJ Pony here. And I gotta tell you, I don't know what to make of this one, children. For weeks, I've been telling you the heroic deeds of the Stable Dweller, our heroine in the Equestrian wasteland, our bringer of light in this time of darkness. But today, another village in Manhattan has gone silent. Arbu is dead. Reports have reached me that every pony in the town, over 24, has been killed. And listen, children, I don't know how to say this, but it looks like it was the Stable Dweller who was responsible. A witness from Buckling Cross reported seeing her open fire on the ponies in the Arbu Commons. Now, children, I don't want to believe this. I don't want to believe our heroine has turned on us. There must be more to this story than what I'm hearing. If you know anything about it, please contact my assistant Homage at 10 Pony Tower. Anything at all. I don't know exactly what went down or why, but I'm not going to stop till I find out. And when I do, you'll know too. This is DJ Pony, bringing you the truth, no matter how bad it hurts.
Pause. Okay. Oh man, we don't get to see it. We don't even get to see it. Fuck. Oh, I was really, I was gearing up. I was getting hype. God, you fucking cock tease, K-Cat.